I have a few questions about, of course, I have been there and I've seen it, but I would like you to talk a little bit more about being in the Constellation workshop. People can ask their own question, they can present their own issue they want to work on, whether it is the personal or the business, doesn't matter. Being in the workshop, they also are present with the constellation of the others. People will be representatives of either persons or energies or circumstances in the constellation of the other persons, the other people in the workshop, and sometimes they will just observe. And now several people have experienced that sometimes it's even a better experience, or the change is even more clear or profound when they are a representative of, they are an energy at that moment. They embody the energy that suddenly makes them realize something for their own issue, and it changes them a lot. And it could even happen when you observe. Could you say a little bit more about that? Because it's a big reason why it's so effective to be in a workshop with a group and not doing an individual constellation. That's an important aspect.
Yeah. Firstly, I'm going to start real abstract.
Okay.
That my thinking is that the primary reason that we're on this planet is to be changed in the direction of enlightenment. In other words, to grow and develop spiritually and physically, so that our ego and our personality and our actions are more aligned with an essential aspect of ourselves that is seemingly quite distant from our local lives. And the thing that also is a bit abstract is the whole constellation weekend, the whole 3-day weekend, is one way to look at it. It is the whole weekend from the time we start on a Friday morning until we end on a Sunday evening is one constellation. And that everyone present and everything said and every movement we make and every individual constellation we do is a healing movement or healing statement within the constellation of the total weekend. The other thing about a constellation work that's so wonderful is that all of us are changed, whether we're simply sitting in the room or standing in as a representative of something important in someone else's constellation, that we experience the benefit. It will resonate, and any part of our system that has even a hint of resonance with what's going on will start moving and changing in a way that expands and heals us. When another thing that whenever anyone asks for any particular healing or any particular change, silently and unconsciously, they're also asking for the question they ask silently is, heal my heart. Will you heal my heart? And that occurs as a part of the constellation process. When someone stands in as a representative or someone sits and observes and witnesses a constellation, there's an expansion that happens. In other words, when someone stands in, and if a man stands in and represents a woman in a certain circumstance, for example, he has an experience that he as a man in his ordinary life will never have. But in that moment, in that place and time, he has the experience of what it's like to be a woman in that circumstance. And he's irrevocably changed and expanded, and quite often has a greater capacity for compassion. the changes are limitless. I mean, someone can come in for 1 or 2 days of the workshop and it's good. But that's a bit like eating a meal, and you have the protein you need, and you have the fats you need, and the carbohydrates. But you may not get all the vitamins or micronutrients you need unless you're there for the whole time, because
Or you may not get the total experience of enjoying this delicious meal or something like that, because it's a little bit more divided.
Yeah, it's coming in and taking a bite of one of the food items on the plate and walking away. And it's okay. It's valuable and necessary. And there are some times when people cannot give more time to, but if they can, it's a complete life-changing experience that's in the direction of the positive, in the direction of healing, in the direction of expansion.
Yeah. And how would this work in the small business owners workshop? Because then the field has much more to do with all the businesses and the connections on that level. And can you imagine how that will work as a whole experience?
Yeah, I don't even have to imagine, because I've done it enough times with groups of business people that oftentimes people have very similar issues in their companies, even though, so I get 10 business people together who they're either department heads or project leads or part of executive committees, or they're owners of their business, and they know the problems that go on. And this person will say, well, I have this problem I want to deal with. And then person over here will say, well, I have that same problem too, even though that's not the one I'm going to ask about. So we fix the problem here and talk about it so that people can understand it in it's the non-ordinary or the invisible influences. And then this person has resolution and knows what to do when he or she goes back. Mm-hmm. And then when this person brings their problem, this one goes, oh yeah, I can benefit from learning that too, and starts making the changes.
So it's like resonating on a whole lot more levels and in lots more issues as a big interconnection, all different. I can see this image of all different kinds of lines going from one person to another and to more, building a huge kind of net of connection on the energy level, so that we all benefit from each other's questions and each other's processes.
Yeah, and that's a really nice image. And then also people know one another, so that they can later on call them up and be of support to each other.
Because they have, of course, been through, in the workshop, probably been through some profound, also personal experiences in working with themselves and their businesses. And that helps to make this connection and to rely on the others to help you in the future.
Yeah. And for some it's very profound, and others it's just real practical. And like, damn it, I got the results I need, and this is really great, and I can help you too. So it's my real interest is making my work be really, really practical, so people get the results they want and make the shift they want, so they can get on with their lives.
Yeah. They can really use it.
Yeah.
One of my favorite quotes, and it connects a little bit to your image of the meal and the nutrients and so on. And I always say, the proof of the pudding is the eating, which is a very well-known English saying, but only in really eating it, in tasting and experiencing, you get the value of it, and not in just the image or the knowing or the words, but in really living it and experiencing the changes that happened.
Yeah, that's very fitting.
It's for the pudding, but it's also for the whole meal. Yeah.
Making me hungry.
Oh, well, yeah. Here it's almost bedtime. You're just starting the day, I think. Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's actually just after lunch.
Okay. Oh, that's quite okay. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,